Hello and welcome to the first tournament episode of round 2. Today we have Killer Plant Ghosts Seed 1 against Superheroes Astroknights Seed 17, and the bases are USS Undertaking, Tsar's Palace, and Dragon's Lair. As always, we start with the highest seed. Not the best starting hand. We already have two of our recursion actions while we just started the game. But at least we can play a mild-mannered citizen. I'll play him on Dragon's Lair so we can later transform it into a Space Knight to start kind of an engine. Then we go to Killer Plant Ghosts. We place a counter on Katsu and place a Water Lily for the same reasons, just as a card draw engine for this game. Then we draw 2 and pass turn. Alright, so now we can destroy the mild-mannered citizen and search for a Space Knight. Reveal the top 30 cards. Draw 1, place the others back. Unfortunately, the burst was also on top, so we will draw him at the end of our turn, which is not ideal when playing superheroes. We'll play a mild-mannered citizen on the USS Undertaking and then end our turn. So, first of all, counter on Kutsu and we draw a card. And we'll go ahead and play Venus Mantrap. Search for a power 2 minion. So it doesn't really matter if we play on USS Undertaking or Tsar's Palace, because USS Undertaking can move the minions. And the bases have an equal breaking point. Then we draw 2 and pass turn. Alright. We're gonna destroy the mild-mannered citizen and search for Captain Amazing. We play our Titan, which I didn't play on Dragon's Lair on purpose, because we might want to use the talent to play an extra minion sometimes, or we might want to use it to clash with the Ghost or Killer Plant Titan. We are now using Space Knight. And then we can score the base already by playing the burst. At least we have the recursion action in hand to put them back in the deck. And with our Titan we can play Alien Guru. Captain Amazing can give 1 power to all of our minions. And of course, Sheep Sport only affects Captain Amazing and the burst, not Alien Guru. Then we can finish it with Yield to Rage, which is exactly enough for us to score. We get a power counter for free, but we don't need it. So let's, instead of drawing the special, draw Laser Sword so that we can play it on Space Knight. I was planning to use the special to play Laser Sword, but I didn't realize we would we would have an extra action from Yield to Rage, so we can already play it without wasting our special. And then it's 4 against 2 with Superheroes Astroknights in the early lead. The most dangerous cards from Killer Plant Ghost are, of course, their 2 Titans, along with a few other cards. And before we can actually play those Titans, we need a bit of time for Katsu to collect some counters, and we need specific cards to discard our entire hand for Green Buff Man, like the Dead Rise or Ghostly Arrival can all help. Sometimes a Spirit play. For now we'll play Blossom to play 3 ghosts on several bases. Unfortunately, we cannot use Spirit to destroy the Space Knight, would have been great. This is the time that Laser Sword actually matters. Okay, so we'll go again with Space Knight. Play Not Really Dead to get back our mild-mannered citizens, which are of course key to the superhero strategy. And then we will probably play Golden Age soon to put Captain Amazing and the Burst back into our deck. We even drew a second copy of it. In my opinion, those 2 minions are definitely the stronger superhero minions. I usually play the other 2 superhero minions just for their 5 power. So Ghost Killer Plants play Spirit. So they are finally destroying some minions. So they can destroy the mild-mannered citizen. As a reaction, our opponents can play their Titan. We get a +1 power counter from the base. And then we'll play Incorporeal to protect our Water Lily against, for example, Mind Lady. Okay, so Space Knight again. We draw Expanded Power. Place the other 2 back on top. So we draw a card usually on every turn, but we do reveal the card so our opponent knows a lot of the cards we have in hand. We'll then play a mild-mannered citizen, which is now protected by the Titan. We'll use the Titan to draw a card. Yeah, we really don't want to play on the other 2 bases. We don't want to waste Scroundle on Sar's Palace, and we cannot play any other minion there. We also don't want to score our engine base. For now we'll play Golden Age, like I said, to return the Burst and Captain Amazing into our deck. One thing I really like in this combo is Ghost Knight and playing him with the talent from the Titan. Okay, so Killer Katsu, and then we draw a card with Water Lily. Then we play Spectra. And then Instagrow into Weed Eater. I just forgot to actually play Instagrow to do this, but I will notice in a bit. And then we will score Dragon's Lair. Astroknights superheroes will use their special and play Prepare for Battle. The reason I am scoring this base is because obviously drawing 3 cards is nice, but the power spread is pretty good, I would say. Our opponent has 7 power there, we are on 11. And of course we also need to take some specials from Astroknights into account. And if Space Knight is hanging out there for the entire game, at some point it's just gonna happen that they are gonna play Scroundle and Mover, and then it becomes a mobile 7 power. So scoring this seems like a good option. We still have one Water Lily in play to draw a card at the start of our turn. And we also really want to draw into cards like Ghostly Arrival, Shady Deal, and Overgrowth. And we just drew Overgrowth. New base is Neutral Space. And we go back to Astroknights Superheroes. And here I finally discovered that I did not discard Instagrowth. Alright. Our mild-mannered citizen is gonna become, once again, Captain Amazing. And usually when I play Captain Amazing, it means I am scoring a base, which is what we will do right now. Play Ghost Knight with the talent from the Titan. So the other two minions have +2 power. And then we still have the talent from Captain Amazing for 3 more power. And then I forgot to place power counter when we destroyed Mild-Mannered Citizen. And then we still have an action play left, so we'll play Hidden Base on Neutral Space. Then we score. And now it's 10 against 6. So I wonder if this means that we might have to say goodbye to our Seed 1 Killer Plant Ghosts. Or that they can still come back. New base is Field of Honor. Which might be impactful, because we still have some spirits left. Counter on Katsu, and we still draw a card before Water Lily. Then I think it's time to play Katsu, and immediately destroy it to play Venus Mantrap. We could quite easily score Tsar's Palace this turn. But we will have to discard all cards from our hand to play Cream Puff Man. Which means we also need to discard Overgrowth. And I don't like discarding Overgrowth. We'll draw 2 cards with our Titan. And then I am not scoring the base this turn. I play Overgrowth on Field of Honor. And we'll call this a Smash Up Fork. Because it's very unlikely that our opponent can have presence on both bases when they score. And then we can still do a big play with the Dead Rise later. Alright, so let's see what we can do. We do have Astrobot in hand. So we play him to destroy Overgrowth. But of course then we don't have presence on Tsar's Palace when it scores, so we play Radioactive Exposure, destroy Astrobot, and search for the Burst, which will move to Tsar's Palace when our opponent is playing minions there. Then we play our Titan after we destroyed a Mild-Mannered Citizen, and play a Mild-Mannered Citizen with the talent. So I think this was quite a clever move. Then we draw 2 cards. Okay. But the one thing we can still do is a Spirit play. So we can play Spirit to destroy the Burst, which will also give us 1 VP from the base. So we need to discard 5. The Burst is not protected by the Titan. The Titan only protects 3 or less power minions. And then we play the Dead Rise to discard everything that's still left in our hand, just to make it empty so we can play Green Buff Man. Okay, so I play Hunting for 6 power, and then I realized one of our minions is both in the green area and the blue area, and then it counted its power twice, so we still need 3 power, so we'll have to play Spirit on Sar's Palace to score it. And then we can play Green Buff Man on neutral space. We don't have to waste it, which is nice. We cannot play it on Field of Honor, because then at the start of our opponent's next turn they can clash it out. So we still solo score Tsar's Palace, and we got a victory point from Field of Honor, so that's +6 victory points, bringing Killer Plant Ghost back into the game. And the new base is Haunted House. We finally drew Ghostly Arrival. Okay. Let's play another Mild-Mannered Citizen without activating the first one. Let's go for a bigger burst all at once later. And then play Scroundle on Haunted House. We can move her to any base we want later to try score it. And then, once again, Golden Race, or Golden Age. Place down Space Knight, the Burst, and Captain Amazing at the bottom of our deck. And then we draw 2 and best turn. So this video was already posted a few weeks ago actually, and superhero Astroknights were winning on their next turn. However, one of my subscribers pointed out to me that Killer Plant Ghost can actually win this turn by using Green Buff Man. I'm not a very experienced Ghost player, so I'd like to thank Jackson for pointing this out to me. Thanks to you, Killer Plant Ghosts are still alive, and without you I probably wouldn't have found this play. But yeah, we can use Green Buff Man to discard a card and play Across the Divide from our discard pile. I guess it's just hard for me to see or visualize all the options you have with Green Buff Man, because he just gives access to so many actions from your discard pile. So with Across the Divide we can get back our 2 Hauntings, and we haven't used any of our regular plays, so we can still play Ghostly Arrival as our action play, and then our 2 minion plays for 2 Hauntings, both adding 6 power to the base, which comes down to a total of 16, which is enough to score Field of Honor. So yeah, if you've recently watched the other video, this might be kind of a surprise for you, because yeah, I think this was definitely worth replaying, because even though I don't really mind making minor mistakes, I do think that when a combo can win the game in their turn, they should be winning the game. So yeah, there's nothing superhero Astroknights can do, so victory points are awarded, and Killer Plant Ghosts win the game with 15 against 11 by scoring Field of Honor. Killer Plant Ghosts will now proceed to round 3, where they have to compete against Vigilantes teams or the Lion King Penguins, whoever wins the next game. So yeah, if you have any thoughts about this game, please let me know in the comments. I always appreciate your feedback. I think this game has proven that. And I think the matches will be a lot closer from now on, as better seeds begin facing each other. So you should definitely join me next episode. For now, thanks for watching and goodbye.